Hello, everybody. This is Gabriel Baldridge reporting live for your travel segment of Powercast Live. I'm here with my co-host Brent Baldridge, and our guest for today, James Nuzzi.
Hi, everybody.
Did he say your last name right?
He did, actually.
Awesome.
All
Most
right.
people get it wrong, but that happens.
What do they say, man? Because like I get all kinds.
Nuzzi.
Nuzzi.
Dude.
I mean, and unless you're Italian, and then it's a Nuzzi, but
Right.
two Z's. But
I used to do a lot of telemarketing, and I was doing like chat response. So people are
Sure.
looking at my name, and it's Brent, and they're like, "So Brandon," and I'm like, "You're looking at my whatever, man. Just it's whatever."
Yep, it happens, buddy.
Well, it's good to have you with us today, man. It's snowy here in Wichita, and so everybody watching today, we're actually all three of us are in Wichita, Kansas right now. James is also a Wichita native,
And I am.
so it is. I'm going to kind of manipulate my camera around here so you guys can see. It is completely snowy outside. I don't know if you guys.
Yep.
So we've got probably about I don't know, about 6 inches of snow on the ground. It's the first time we've had snow like this in Wichita for a few years, actually, really.
Also,
Yeah,
I want to
that's
say to
been.
all you
Wow.
listeners there, Happy New Year's.
Yeah, Happy New Year's, everybody. Good to see
Happy
you
New
guys.
Year.
Definitely glad to have you guys here.
All right, James. So, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's James Nuzzi. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. I've been an entrepreneur, business owner for the last 20, 25 years of my life. And I started doing some stuff a little over, it would have been about 20 years ago. I started doing some stuff in real estate and just found myself, at 40 years old, working 80 hours a week. And I was not happy, was not loving life. I was just basically working myself to death. And I ended up finding in the travel space. I had a friend that was actually a friend now, but a person that I knew a little bit of, and they invited me over to take a look at this idea in the travel space and making some residual type income from it. And I fell in love with the idea. And when that happened, my life kind of changed. I mean, it wasn't immediate. It wasn't, one day I was here and the next day I was here. It was over about a 2 or 3 year period. But in that period of time, what ended up happening was I bought my life back. And so over the last 6 years, I've been traveling the world, having fun. I'm even during the pandemic, during COVID, I've actually been to Cancun 5 times. I've been on 20 vacations this year alone. And these are not work related vacations. This is not where I'm working remotely, where people say, figure out a way to make money and work remotely. And no, I'm not doing that. I'm on the beach. I'm playing. I'm having fun. I'm catching fish in Cabo. I'm on vacation. So it's been kind of a fun ride, 6 years, and looking forward to the future. I mean, 2021 is going to be an absolute epic year. The biggest pent up demand on the planet right now is for people to travel. If you don't have cabin fever and you're being stuck at home, you're among the very few
I
in
have
the
cabin fever.
yeah, everybody wants
Yeah,
out.
I want out.
I mean, everybody wants to get out, they want to travel, they want to see the world. And as more and more states and cities and countries open so that people can actually go travel into those places without these COVID restrictions, then more people are going to do it. I mean, I was just in Cancun airport. What would the been December 3rd of last year? Now it's kind of weird to say that today, but last month I was in Cancun and there was over 3,000 people in line to get through customs. So
Getting in?
people, yeah, to actually get in, and that's normal for Cancun. You go down to Cancun and there's sometimes, depending on the day that you fly and when you're there, you're going to have the ability to walk right through sometimes. But if you fly like most people do on the weekend or the week, Monday or Saturday or Friday, you're going to run into a lot of traffic. So, but yeah, it was nice to see Cancun back and open running, and they're doing the COVID thing. They're restricting and they're trying to get people to stay 6 feet apart. And I mean, I don't know how that makes any sense to anybody if you can get on a plane and sit this close to somebody, but then we got to stand 6 feet apart and whatever. I mean,
I flew to San Diego in July and then back in September, and we were just kind of like, well, here we are, and I'm sitting right
right.
next to somebody. There was no like even spacing.
Sure.
So yeah.
It's like a lot of the stuff that they make doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. I think it's a lot of control, and they want to control people, and they're people now. You can see it. I mean, all over the news. They're not reporting a lot of this, but there are a lot of business owners. I've got friends of mine that live in San Diego, and friends that live in LA, and ones that live in Phoenix, and these places that are locked down. The
They're hurt.
business are fighting back, and they're literally saying, we're doing everything you told us to do, and yet we're still being fined. It doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah, they're
they're
hurt.
following the rules, but you know and sooner or later, the small business owners, at some point, they're going to go, enough is enough is enough. And I'm just grateful and lucky that I don't own a brick and mortar building anymore, and or real estate, because I mean, I had a buddy of mine that lives in Tampa, Florida. He's got 30 Airbnbs, and the governor for 3 months locked them out from being able to do short-term leases on those. So you couldn't Airbnb those places. So a lot of people didn't know that there were places like that. But if you go to New York, for example, right now there are 5 hotels that are right down in the heart of Manhattan, and they're all closed.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
millions and hundreds of millions of dollars of buildings that are hotels that are just not being used. They're not being utilized.
Well, and that's a that's a lacking of revenue. That's an economic downturn. And I mean, and just then there's the like you got to look at the local areas too, like here in Wichita.
Mhm.
All of the businesses are shut down at 7, 8 o'clock at night. Like
Right.
somehow COVID is stalking in the dark time. Like it knows what
It's got
time
a
of day it
bedtime.
is. Yeah, it's coming after you, dude. If you're not in bed, COVID's coming for you. And like I mean, but we started that back in February.
Yeah.
I
Late
used to
February,
shop.
early March.
Well, I used to shop at Walmart at night. Like that. I don't like the
Sure.
crowds, so I go to Walmart in the middle of the night.
Right.
All the Walmarts are shut. Like they started doing that in like January, February of last year before anything was happening. So it was
Right.
almost like there was some kind of a pre notification that kind of went out to a bunch of different organizational businesses. Like, I mean, it just seems it's odd, the timing of everything. But it's definitely hurt us, and and in our small businesses, and even in some of our large businesses.
I would
Um,
agree.
you guys definitely are fortunate in that you guys have, gotten yourselves worked into a position where you're, basically stable.
Sure.
World
Yeah.
Ventures is the company that James is involved in, and I've been kind of on the outskirts of World Ventures for a few years. But
Well, did you know that we merged?
no, I didn't know that you guys merged. Who did you merge with?
We merged with a company called Secret.
Okay.
So Secret Direct is a company that we merged with. In fact, it actually happened the last week in December. So
Okay.
the travel site is still there. We still have the travel product that we are all about. I mean, our dream trips are amazing.
Hmm.
Thousands of vacations all over the world at, between 20 and 70% off retail. So that product is still there. We're still available for that. We still have the booking engine. We're still able to book hotels and resorts all over the world, millions of different properties. And again, saving people from most people don't know that in the travel space that almost every single place that you look at online is a retailer. So if you look at Travelocity, Expedia, Orbitz, Hotwire, Cheap Tickets, all these different places, all of those are retailers of travel.
When you say retail, you mean like they're buying the travel products that they're selling wholesale and then profiting and marking them up.
Correct. So what in the world there are about 10, there's actually 11 or 12, but on any given day there are something like 10 active what they call aggregators of travel. They are the big guys that have all the contracts with all the hotels. They have all of them. Nobody has nobody has one, like Hilton does not just put them on one place. Hilton actually has their own website, but they have to sell it at fair market pricing. Fair market pricing means if I go onto Expedia, I have to be able to find the same price that I found it on Hilton. Now,
Right.
if I'm a Hilton Rewards member, I can get better deals because I'm that rewards member. but at some point there's got to be a profit margin in there. Well, when those guys sell, the hotel aggregators, when they sell it to Expedia, the Expedia people raise the price. So they buy it at wholesale, they raise the price up here to retail, and that can be significant. I mean, and I've seen properties all over the place. In fact, I was looking at a property in Dubai, and the property in Dubai was 80% off of retail. So that's just on our site now. The reason we can do that is because we have a membership base. So people pay a little small fee, and then they have access to wholesale travel on demand. So you pay that little fee, you have access to it, you can travel and do all that. But if you're booking travel on any site online, even at the hotel directly, you're buying it retail. So most people that was the thing that most people don't know. And then if you want to look at the travel industry as a whole, there really are only two major players in the entire world in the game. You have the Booking Holdings Group, which used to be the Priceline Group. They got bought out and they renamed to now it's called Booking Holdings. And then you have the Expedia Group. And if you look at Expedia, I mean, I could show you guys a slide of this, but I'd have to go find it. But Expedia owns Travelocity, Orbitz, Hotwire, Cheap Tickets, and then Booking.com or Booking Holdings owns Booking.com, Priceline, all the
They own
platforms.
JustFly too.
What's that?
Doesn't they? I think, but the Bookings Holdings Group, don't they own JustFly as well?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. And it's just
The
all the
website's
retail
all look the
sites.
same, you know.
Yeah, they're all, and what you're really doing is you're looking at those two feeds. So if you're looking at Expedia, you're looking at Priceline or Booking Holdings, those two feeds will feed into, for Expedia, will feed Travelocity. It'll feed you know, hotels.com or Hotwire or, you know, cheaptickets.com. It'll feed those in. So it uses their wholesale feed to feed into those, and you're just buying it retail.
And this is really typically, if everybody watching doesn't know, like this is really kind of what's happened to the travel agent industry over the last like 10 years, because there used to be that that system that you go into, that you have to go through the training and you have to learn how to put in all the code. It looks like the freaking Matrix, and it's every booking thing there is in the world. And now these holdings groups, they basically go in and sit on those and just kind of manipulate the whole thing. And travel agents really don't have much to do anymore. So
Yeah, it really changed the industry. I mean, and it was right when the internet came around. The internet came around and everybody went online to start ordering and buying. And then it got really bad, like you were saying, early 2000s. What ended up happening is you had companies that were going out there like Expedia, and then Expedia just cornered the market because they started buying all these other companies up. So now there are only two major players in the game. I mean, you've got Expedia and you have the Booking Holdings Group. And if you're booking travel at all, if you're looking on Google Flights, if you're looking on Yahoo, it doesn't matter where you're looking, it's going to one of those places. I mean, you can literally book a flight, or I'm sorry, a hotel. You can book a hotel on Travelocity, get to the hotel, and they say, hey, we see you booked with Expedia.
Expedia, yep, I've been there. I've had that experience
And it's
before
like, no,
too.
I didn't. I booked with Travelocity.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're booking with Expedia because Expedia owns them.
Yeah, which it almost is kind of like it's like a dirty trick, because
Right.
Then they have the defense of, well, you didn't book with us, you booked with them, but the receipt is with them, so we don't have to mess with you. You have to go talk to them. Well, you didn't book with us, you booked with them, you just paid through us, and this is just a
Right.
portal. And so then you end up in the runaround, and so it makes customer service a little bit more hinky than it used to be, I think.
Definitely does. Challenging, the challenging aspects of it are, I mean, they can be significant.
Which
And
is
that's definitely true.
which is absolutely the advantage to go through with a private members only booking club like World Ventures, or the World Ventures booking engine with the hotels and the flights, and it's
Sure.
just the service that's available, and the level of interaction with the company that's available, and the personal attention is just second to none. There's just no way to replace it.
100%. Yeah.
So definitely always like to talk about the World Ventures travel experience. It's just such a
It's pretty fun, man. People laugh when they hear, I mean, most people in their lifetime, they probably go on, I don't know, a handful of vacations in their lifetime, maybe that number's 3 or 5 major, unbelievable, let's go to Hawaii and live it up kind of trips. And then you look at the Disney World trips, you might go to Disney World once or twice. But the question that I got asked was, what if you could take a trip of a lifetime every month? What would life look like? In the last 6 years, I've been on over 100 vacations all over the world. I mean, I've been in 9 countries. I've been in 3 countries this year alone. So travel is absolutely the one thing you can spend money on that you get to take with you, because you get the experience. The experiences is what life is really about. Life is not about paying bills. Life is about going out and living full time and doing what you want to do with your life on your terms, your conditions, whatever that looks like. So for me, I went from 80 hours a week working from sun up till, we call it from 8 to faint. Well, it was really like from 6 a.m. to faint, because I was working doing paperwork till 1 o'clock in the morning almost every day. And then I started seeing this and I said, this is crazy. Like, where do I want to go? Like today, I mean, I love the snow. It looks amazing. My brother just texted me and he said, I would never want to live in the snow. And I'm like, you're right. I might fly out tomorrow and go see him. Now, he just happens to live in Honolulu, Hawaii, but, you know, so I might go see my dad. My dad lives in Tampa, Florida. I mean, why would I stay when I can? I mean, I figured out a way using this system. Residual income comes in every month without me doing anything more than I'm doing right now, and I just live full time. I mean, that's, in fact, it's on my shirt.
Yep.
Live full time.
It is, yeah. And you guys, we'll have the link below this in the video, so you guys can get to James's to James's site, and so you can see what he's got going on.
Sure.
You guys definitely want to check that out.
This is beautiful stuff, man. You kind of already answered my first question on your own, so I'll just ask the second question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How has traveling impacted you, as in how has it changed your perspective?
I would say this, Gabriel, being 46 now, and I joined the Army when I was 18 years old, and I got to travel with the Army and go do some things. But here's the problem with being in the Army. They say join the Army and go travel the world, right? Well, when you're working all the time, you don't get to go do anything. So for me, my example of this was I went to Germany and I never saw anything. I literally flew into an airport, got off, got on a deuce and a half, and drove out into the field. And that was basically what I did. So, I mean, travel has changed my perspective because now I get to interact with other cultures. I get to see other people, and I get to appreciate some of the benefits that we have being an American, being in the United States. I'll give you a great example that is something that most people, if you've never traveled anywhere else, you probably would not understand this. But there are not convenience stores like there are in the United States. In fact, there are places in the world that, let's say you're hungry at 7, 8 o'clock at night, maybe at 8, 9 o'clock, and you don't have nothing in the refrigerator, you can't eat because everything's closed. So you go over to Germany, for example, when I was in Germany, and we had dinner at like 6 o'clock, we got done eating, and I'm asking my buddy, I'm like, well, let's go get some beer at the convenience store. Nope, can't, it's closed. So I'm like, what do you mean it's closed? And he goes, well, it's closed. Even on base, it's closed. So at 6 o'clock, you want to go get a beer, the class 6 is what it's called, the liquor store in the military. The class 6 is closed. So you can't go get anything. So you have to plan in advance. So from my perspective, I go, this makes me appreciate it when I come home, because when I come home, I can just run over to Walmart. I can run a Quick Trip. I can run to convenience stores right down the street. So my perspective has changed because now I understand all these other people all over the world. They don't have the conveniences that we have. They don't have the Walmarts, the Targets, the Best Buys right down the street. I mean, I don't know what side of town do you guys live on?
We're Midtown right now. We've kind of lived all over, west side, east side, south side, kind of.
Sure. So great example is if you want to run over to 21st and Rock Road, which is a big, area here in Wichita that people can go to and go shopping. Well, there's 20 different stores that you can go to.
Easily
go across the
20
street.
different stores, easily.
Oh, easy.
Maybe more like
Bradley
100.
Fair is huge. So if you want to go over to the west side of town, you can just run over there to New Market Square, and there's probably 50, 60 stores there. And there's probably 8, 10, I'd say maybe even 20 restaurants within 1 mile of there. And pretty much all day long, you could go find something to eat, go shopping, do all that stuff. So
Or go to
from the,
Old Town and go to the little shops that are
oh,
all
absolutely.
open pretty late too. We've got a really big kind of eclectic and boutique kind of market here.
Yeah, Wichita is a crazy place for restaurants. I
It
think
really
the
is.
number I think the number I heard at one point, because I know White Castle started here, I know Pizza Hut started here, but Wichita is like a test market for restaurants. So we have more restaurants per person in Wichita, Kansas than anywhere in the world. So that's the crazy thing. And I'll tell you, this is another perspective that'll make you appreciate what you have here in Wichita or in the United States. When you go out to dinner, it is not uncommon to get a 45-minute wait to an hour wait without a reservation. You go anywhere else, and that's the way it is. You come to Wichita, and if you wait 10, 15 minutes, you're mad because if you want, you can just leave and go one block away, and there's 5 other restaurants. So,
I had a buddy that I brought here from the West Coast, and I took him to Hog Wild.
oh, there you go.
If anybody
Barbecue.
hasn't been here in Wichita, if you come to Wichita, go to Hog Wild. They have some of the best barbecue.
Absolutely.
And so I got him a hot link sandwich, and the hot links are usually like the least quality of a place, right?
Right.
And so he's eating this hot link sandwich. He takes a bite and he goes, and I'm like, man, are you all right? He goes, is all the meat here this good?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, man, it's not like this in the West Coast. I'm like, bro, there's cows everywhere.
Well, exactly.
I just looked it up, and it says that with the number of restaurants in Wichita is approaching 1,000, and that was in 2016.
Yeah.
So we have
That-
well over 1,000 restaurants here. It's
Yeah.
it's food central.
And we only have a population in, I think it's in Wichita, was like 300,000. Sedgwick County is like 570, to 600,000.
The metro area is 792 now. Wichita topped out at 383 last year.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, it's we're a small area. We have a lot of food. If you guys are
Yeah.
hungry, come here. You know who comes here to eat? Harrison Ford comes here to eat. You guys, like,
He does.
no kidding. He flies in and like goes and tours restaurants. That's what he does.
Yep, he sure does.
Not they close Ming Moon.
Yeah, we used to go to this Chinese place called Ming Moon, and
Oh yeah.
man, they were great. But their sister restaurant, Dragon City, is still up, and I took in we had a 15-person family meal there one time at the Ming Moon place, and they're so nice, and all the restaurants in town are so nice. They'll just shove tables together. They don't care. They're just like, just do whatever. And you're right about the difference in other places. People are not it's not as homey. There's more people, there's more bustle.
Right.
And Wichita is a fairly cheap place to live too. It's not super expensive to live here.
That's exactly right. That's why my brother and I we have conversations about this all the time, and I'm like, why would I move out of Wichita? It is more expensive to fly from Wichita to a lot of places because when you leave Wichita, you have to go somewhere to go anywhere. So
We don't
depending
have
on what,
international airport anymore.
well, and they do because they do fly in cargo, but the problem is there's no direct flight from Wichita to like Cancun. There's no direct flight to Miami. And so depending on what airline you fly, if you fly United, you're going to connect in either Houston or Denver. Those are their 2 main hubs. If you fly American, you're going to connect in Dallas, Minneapolis, St. Paul, or Atlanta. And if you fly Delta, you're hitting, I think it is Atlanta. There's another one, Phoenix, Arizona, and then I think it's it might be Seattle. Or no, it's Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's the same ones.
That's right. Yeah, because they're paired.
Yeah, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Phoenix, Arizona, and Dallas. And if you go the other direction, it's Atlanta.
And a lot of people from here, I know I have a lot, like driven to Oklahoma City and pull them out, or you drive to KC, or you just catch a ride.
There's a little trick for you. When you type in your airport codes, like Wichita's is ICT, that's a 3-digit airport code for Wichita. But when you type in Kansas City, everybody thinks it's KCI. If you type in KCI, you're going to the downtown airport. You have to type in MCI because the airport is in Missouri.
Yeah, and the downtown airport is like 3 times as expensive.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, it's the private jet one. It's just like flying out of Jabara Airport here.
Yeah,
You can fly out of here, but you're flying on a private jet. So
yeah, and it's maybe a little pricey, but
sure.
it's all
Nothing
what
like $3,000 to $5,000 a flight hour.
hey, I mean, it's all in what you want. They got the caviar on the plane, and
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you either get caviar or you put your and no mask, or you put a mask on and you get a bottle of water now.
yeah. So I flew in Frontier out to San Diego, and because
There you
they
go.
have they had some like just amazing, like I think I flew for like $56 a person,
Yep.
and just the discount kind of run, but we almost crashed in Denver when we went in.
Uh-oh.
So it
Yeah, Denver's a fun airport.
we pulled up harder than I've ever pulled up in an airplane. Like it was,
Wow.
I've flown dozens of times when I mean, like I grew up flying, and I grabbed my seat for the first time ever. Like,
Wow.
dude. And this lady was next to me, and her husband looks at me and makes this face, and she goes, "I've never flown before. Is this normal?" And I go, "Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine." And he goes,
As you're white knuckling it, holding
"Yeah,
on.
dude, yeah." I'm like, "No, I'm fine. Everything's fine. We're fine." So
Yeah,
okay,
so
go ahead and let's move on, man. We're dominating your
I just
conversation
want
here.
to
I
say that,
apologize.
like, I'm honestly glad that you guys are talking about this because I've never really thought about like those aspects of travel.
Sure.
Okay, so what was the most enlightening place you have been to and why?
Enlightening as far as like spiritually, emotionally. What are you like? Let's dig a little deeper than just
I'm
enlightening.
thinking more like mentally, like it changed your perspective and it like kind of shed some light on things that you hadn't looked at before.
I would probably say Argentina. I haven't been to a lot of I mean, I've been to Europe, and I haven't been to a lot of other places on vacation. I've been to other places in the army, but on vacation, I would say Argentina. And one of the reasons why I went down there to do a bird hunt, and I'm going to say some crazy numbers, and people are going to look at me and go, "That's insane. You shouldn't do that," and blah blah blah. But we took 13 people down to this bird hunt, and this bird hunt is probably the craziest thing in the world. I am a Midwest boy. I do hunt. It's not a big deal for me. And these 13 people, we shot 19,100 birds in 3 days. Now everybody hears that number and they go, "Oh my gosh, you're just out there slaughtering them." Let's be clear. So in Argentina, the birds never migrate, so they don't go south for the winter. They have water and they have food right there. So in this one area, we call it a bowl. It's actually a roost. In that bowl area, there are 60 million birds.
Wow.
Whoa,
Yeah,
dude!
this
Like,
this gets
whoa.
crazier.
Okay.
This gets crazier. They have 2 sets of babies a year, and every single time they have babies, they have a minimum of 2. So every year they add 4. And that's 4 times 30 million because there's pairs, but 30 million pairs have 4 babies a year.
So
Now,
they need people to come down there to kill those
100%.
birds off.
Right. So they are one of
Wow.
the biggest pests down there, because if you're a farmer and you're growing wheat or corn or whatever you're growing, they fly right over to your field, eat your food, fly right over the water, drink the water, because most doves, or well, doves, they have to drink after they eat so they can swallow.
Mm.
So they can't swallow any other way. So from the perspective of that, I went over there and I went to go play and have fun. And I remember in one day, a buddy of mine named Logan, he shot over 1,000 birds in one day.
That's
Now that was a
awesome.
very expensive shell count for his father. So, but I think I ended up shooting like 20 over the 3 days. I think I shot like 2,400. I've got a book here somewhere, and they did this amazing thing for us. I mean, a we had a hacienda, a house. We had a maid. We had a butler. They took care of us like royalty. I had a bird boy that basically loaded my gun every time I mean, because we used an over under, and it's silver pigeon, and you push the slide to the right and it breaks down, and you, as fast as you can pull the trigger, you're shooting birds.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I think one day I shot 800 in one day.
did you
My
So now,
like?
do
shoulder.
they cook those,
Yeah,
or
that's what I
like, I
was
mean,
gonna ask.
do you eat them, or?
So now here's the secondary part of it. This is the perspective of most enlightening. So most people would say, you're just out there killing them, slaughtering them, blah blah blah. Well, we had food that we basically cleaned them in the field. We didn't. The other guys did. They cooked for us every day in the field. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is a gentleman's hunt. This is not going hunting. I've hunted here in Wichita or in Kansas, and you're walking through the fields and mud and snow and ice and everything else.
Freezing.
No, yeah, and you can do it during the spring and summer and be fine, but you're standing in this one place and they fly over you. So you don't really move. And they bring out your whatever you want to drink. So we had Coke and Diet Coke and beer and everything else in the field, and they would find the birds that they could find really easily. They would defeather them, they would cook them up for us, and we would have lunch. Well, we also had them for dinner, and we had snacks too, and they were all sorts of it. So nothing better than bacon wrapped, dove meat over an open fire. I mean, in Argentina. So
Oh,
the other
man.
part of that though is not only are we feeding us, but the Catholic orphanage that is there goes out and every day they pick up as many birds as they can find. And we're feeding approximately 25,000 orphans per week.
Dude, that's great. That is
So,
great, man.
and then here's the crazier numbers. That was one place that was hunting. There were 10 different places that hunt, and they shoot on average of 50,000 birds per week. So you're shooting 500,000 birds, but you have to remember that's 500,000 birds when you're adding a little over,
Out of 60 million.
well, I think you're adding, what was it, 60 times 4? You're adding almost 200 million birds annual or
Per
every
year.
year. Yeah, so if you're shooting 500,000, you're not even touching the population.
It's not even like a
And that's
drop.
Yeah, it's like
Dude,
1% or 2%
That's
of
like
the
that's like a
population.
perfect feeding machine. I mean, that's
Right.
basically like a perfect population explosion machine down there.
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean, helping them out. And it's really crazy. If you're from Western Kansas, or if you ever drive through Western Kansas on I-70 going toward Denver,
Mhm.
you're going to see some hills every now and then. Or if you go the other direction and you go toward Kansas City, you're going to go through the Flint Hills. Argentina looks exactly like that.
Really?
Yep.
I
The
know, I
only
know,
difference is
like,
you speak
I know
Spanish.
there's some places in Brazil that look a lot like the Midwest as well, because it's like they call it the Great Plains of South America.
Sure.
And it's just very flat and very, very simple. Now, the difference is that they apparently like have a completely, like underneath the whole area is an alluvial diamond bed. So that's kind of one of my bucket places. I want to go and, maybe dig up some diamonds or whatever from South America. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm going to see if I can pull up my pictures on here.
But yeah, man, that's an insane amount of birds.
Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy.
that's an insane amount of birds. Like I think just seeing that many birds all at one time up close like that would be fairly enlightening for me. That's a lot of life energy.
It would,
I
I would tell you, just go on and Google Argentina bird hunt and go to YouTube and look at it. And there's so many birds are like flies everywhere. It's crazy. It is insane.
I'm looking it up right now.
Well, that's not what I
Oh
want
my
to
God.
Wow.
have. Are you watching that?
I'm just looking on the images, right? Oh my God.
You don't even
Yeah.
have to aim.
Dude, you don't even have to aim at all.
No, you just point and shoot.
Plow, 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 plow. Wow.
It's crazy.
Dude, oh my God.
Oh, for all you guys listening here, you should definitely search up Argentina bird hunt.
Yeah, you guys, if you're watching this right now,
There's my-
look up Argentina bird hunt. You guys are going to freak out. This is
There's-
insane.
Cordoba, Argentina. And then we got there. This is us in the airport walking, a couple of buddies of mine. So when I said we ate in the field, this is what I meant by gentleman's hunt. There's all 13 of us at a white tablecloth
Wow.
on that hunt. We're in the middle of the field. We're about 8 miles from the house. And they
Nice.
put that out for us. And obviously I'm right here and all my buddies are just hanging out, having fun. And then of course, when you get done doing that, you got to get a little hacienda. You got to go for a little nap.
Oh, they
gotta
bring out
get-
the hammocks.
We got to get in the
Nice.
hammocks. And then when you get done, there was us going to the house.
That's a little
And-
hacienda.
Yeah, we had a butler service for us and white, towels to wipe our hands. And then of course, There's our appetizers right before dinner.
And this is
And
the
then,
experience of World Ventures, you guys, that is afforded to you in a private club, travel club. It's a
yeah, I mean,
tailored experience.
there's my bird boy and I, and my buddy Bill in the background with his bird boy. So, I
Nice.
mean, the one I will tell you, this is the one thing that most people will never have the ability to do this, but this is a great picture from my perspective. So I don't know if you guys can see that. You see all 5 of us on the line?
Yeah.
So this is my buddy Logan.
Okay.
This is his dad, Byron. And then if you go to the right, there's me. Then there's my buddy Dwight Hansen.
Oh, you darked up.
There we go.
Okay.
My buddy Dwight, and then my buddy Bill. Well, the guy who took the picture is Tom, and that's Byron's dad. So you had grandfather, father, and son hunting together in Argentina. That is a lifetime of lifetime trips.
Dude, that's very cool.
That sounds
So-
3 generations together. That's
3 generations hanging out, having fun, and now Logan just had a baby, so they've got 4 generations.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, pretty cool.
Tell him we said congratulations on the baby for sure.
Absolutely. I will.
Yep.
Okay, so on to the next question. Where are
Sure.
you right now, and what is your next move?
I
Covered
right
that.
now,
I
as
know,
far
so I
as,
was thinking.
well, I'll tell you some insight with some of the stuff that's going on with us and what we've been doing. Right now, I'm in Wichita, Kansas. I will be here for about a couple of weeks. I do have some trips planned. I've got to go see some team members and friends down in Oklahoma and some in Kansas City. So I'm going to be doing that probably this week and next week. What's going on with me and where do I go from now? You mean as far as the travel, the business, or which one are you looking at, or both?
Yeah, both.
Okay. So travel, I do have a trip planned to Phoenix, Arizona. A buddy of mine just moved out there, and that's actually where our new corporate office is. So I'm gonna go check that out in January. So I'm gonna do that late in the year. The owner of the company is from Israel, so his name is Isaac Ben Shabbat, and Isaac has invited all of the leaders of our company out there. Leaders can bring certain people out, so I'm not
He's
quite
the
to that
owner
level.
of Seacrest, is that correct?
It's
Of the
secret. and it's-
secret.
Yeah, it's SEACRET.
Okay.
So it's like Dead Sea.
Oh,
Okay.
The Dead Sea Minerals is this company called Secret. They are very big proponents of healthy wellness, everything from the Dead Sea Minerals. Here's an interesting factoid that I didn't even know. There are 27 specific minerals and oils that come from the Dead Sea. 12 of them are only found in the Dead Sea.
Really? I did
So,
not know that either.
yeah. And here's another one that I didn't know. Did you know that Cleopatra, the ancient Egyptian queen, was renowned for her beauty? And she visited the Dead Sea every year for a week. And
Yeah.
the reason she did was to bathe in the salts that are there. So the Dead Sea Minerals, I mean, they are absolutely fantastic. I love the products that we have. I mean, there's all sorts of things that are in there. So that kind of leads into where we're going and what we're doing. Our travel site is still there. We are doing some amazing things with that. We are taking trips all over the world. We still have that part of the travel side. But wouldn't it be great if you could look better and feel better? What if you had a better lifestyle? And so what we've done is we've created a lifestyle type company. So it doesn't matter if you want to look better, we have that. If you want to feel better, we've got a health and nutrition line that are top notch. Some of the products that I'm using on a regular basis, they're right over here. I mean, I'll go grab you some of them. But here's in fact, I'm going to do this because I think this is important. Let me grab this real quick.
And just while he's grabbing this stuff, let me go ahead and say, everybody, anything that we're talking about on our show here, we're going to have links up for you guys to get at. So everything that he's talking about is going to be in a link underneath the video, and we'll get it out there so you guys can get to it and check it out yourselves and really dig into this and consume it.
Absolutely. So here's something that I got really concerned with. When I joined the Army, I became a paramedic. And as a paramedic, I'm all about emergency medicine. And there are certain things that I would definitely say I need certain things like drug wise to keep you alive. But what do you do on a regular basis? What do you do on a daily basis for your health? Well, one of the biggest problems that we have in the world today is most of the things that we do for our health, meaning eating or drinking, they become acidic in the body, in the human body. And when they become acidic, then you get inflammation. Well, when you get inflammation, you can get sick, injured, hurt, all these different things, right? So wouldn't it be great if you could just boost your immune system by taking immunity pill? You take a vitamin or a mineral, it's called Immune X. This company created it. You take it every day and it boosts your immune system. Now, the numbers that I've heard, we can't make any product claims or any of that stuff, but I can tell you right now, I've been taking this product for 3 months. And instead of putting on a mask and being scared to death of COVID or the flu or a cold or anything, I have not had a cold or a flu in 3 months. And I have tons of my friends that have gotten COVID. Now, I will tell you, I got COVID in October, but here's what happened to me. I didn't know I had COVID. Now, I was not asymptomatic, but I lost the sense of smell and taste, but it only lasted for 2 days. When I talked to my doctor, they're like, there's no way possible it only lasted 2 days. Everybody else is getting this from minimum of a week to 2 weeks, some people even 3 to 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally would be taking this every single day. And that's what I'm doing. One of the things I'm doing daily for my health. Another thing is we all know that greens are really, really good for you. Well, this powdered greens, I can tell you right now, I'll just do it right now. You can see this.
How does it taste?
There it is on my finger.
It must
and
not
it's
taste bad.
sweet.
Nice.
It tastes like an apple kind of to me. So
Nice.
the other thing I like about the greens is I've had products from all sorts of different companies. I've gone to the health nutrition stores and bought them myself. And every time I mixed them, I had to put them in a blender, a Ninja little blender, and I've got one, and blend it up. And then, 4 minutes later, it's separated out, right? Well, this stuff, I put in a shaker cup and shake it 3 times and it's done. And it's absolutely amazing.
So it's
I love that product.
microcellularized.
What's that?
I say that's what you call microcellularized.
Yeah, there you go.
Our other co-host Aaron, he has a different line of products that's
Sure.
but very, very homeopathic, the same way, natural and from
Yeah.
natural sources. And theirs are all microcellularized as well.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's something that only the top companies that are putting out supplements today are doing, because that actually, when you're talking about, mixing and it clumping,
Right.
and that's the thing, is that a lot of people, and I'm a certified fitness trainer as well. So I've been through all of the supplement training and all of the, like I can build my own stacks, and, they put us through a steroid course so that we would understand it. Here's the thing: when it's clumpy, your body's not absorbing it. Your body's having to work extra hard to digest it. It's not a simple carbohydrate. It's getting broken down over several times in your stomach and your intestinal tract, and that's not good for you.
Yeah, and if you're looking at any product,
like that,
if you're looking at any product, I mean, all these things that are listed on the bottom there is no GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, no sugar added, no artificial fillers, and completely vegan and certified organic. Certified organic means has not been heated above 110 degrees or 115 degrees. So once you do that, you kill all the cells, you kill all of the good stuff that is in there. So the other one that we've got that I would highly recommend is called Recovery. This is hydrolyzed, well, they call it molecular hydrogen. So it's recovery with what is it? Recovery with HydroFX. And what it does is it instantly goes into your bloodstream and makes you feel better. It's a calcium and a magnesium pill, but it goes in and it fixes all the pains and problems in your bloodstream or your problem. But all of those, 100% of those, are removing the inflammation out of your body. So to answer your question, Gabriel, where we're moving, where we're seeing, what we're going, what we're doing, we're helping more people look better, feel better, travel better, and then have a better lifestyle. So that's the one thing that I'm really excited about, because at the end of the day, if you make money, that's great. I mean, you can pay your bills, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. And, we have, what is it, 15, 20 million Americans are right in the middle of basically not being able to pay their mortgage payment. I think you're going to see the biggest real estate downturn in the history of mankind. I survived and built my business through 2008, 9, well, 2007, 8, 9, right when we had the mortgage crisis the last time. And people are saying, well, it can't happen again. Well, when you got 20 million people that can't pay their mortgage payment, a little $600 stimulus check ain't going to help you. So
And
we
I know
need
that
to
that
figure.
2008, 2009 thing that took my hardwood flooring business like that.
Right.
Hardwood flooring is like the vein side of everything. So,
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
the when the housing bubble popped, there was no more vein construction happening.
Well, and what's crazy about when the bubble popped, most people, when they didn't realize what was going on, they said real estate was on this uptrend. Well, it was on an uptrend all of a sudden, and then the bottom fell out.
Hmm.
And so that's exactly where we are right now. I've got probably 30 friends of mine that are realtors that are here in town, and I've got realtor friends that are in Dallas, Houston, Tampa, LA, San Francisco. One of my buddies just moved from Seattle, Washington. He moved over to Idaho as a realtor, and he's like, James, the real estate is crazy. I mean, they're selling things sight unseen, no inspections, doing all of this stuff right now. But
It's coming.
eventually it's going to change. And when it does change, I think it's going to be the biggest thing. So to answer the question, I'm just here to help as many people look better, feel better, travel better, and have that better lifestyle, because that is the one thing I wish I would have done sooner in life than later in life. Now, we always say that I think it's crazy to work 40 years of your life, or 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life, to retire on 40% of your income that you couldn't survive on before because everybody's in debt. So you need to figure out a way to create a residual type income that comes in whether you are there or not. And I heard something on a podcast earlier in the week is the greatest explanation of the difference between being a business owner and self-employed, or being an entrepreneur. And if you're a self-employed person, here's the question: can you leave your business for 3 to 5 days? If you can't leave your business for 3 to 5 days, you're self-employed.
Yep.
If you're an entrepreneur, you can leave and come back and the business is still there.
Okay.
So for me, when I started seeing that, I go, well, how did I create this lifestyle where I can go do what I really want to do, play golf, go hunting with my buddies. My buddy calls me and says, hey, let's go to lunch, and it's 1:30. I'm not on a set schedule. So I wanted to create that lifestyle more than anything. And if I can do it and be, feel better and look better, well, don't look better, but just I'm gonna do those sort of things because I want that kind of lifestyle. That's what I want to do.
Well,
So I'm
and
done.
I think it's beautiful that, like, I mean, you got yourself to the point where you're experiencing the lifestyle that you want.
Right.
And you're doing the thing that we all do when we get to there, and you're turning around and going, man, I gotta show other people how to do this. Like, this is, this,
Absolutely.
people need to learn, and you're motivated to teach, and that's, and you're in a unique position to be able to demonstratively teach to people. And so I
I
really.
have people, it's a crazy thing. I have people that reach out to me because they see me on social media and they see me traveling. And one of my buddies owns a construction company here in town. And he called me up one day and he goes, okay, I don't care what you're doing. Stop putting pictures of you on a beach because I'm sick and tired of seeing them. And I said, really? I said, I'm so sorry for that. But, at the same time, I said, why don't we meet for coffee? Why don't we? I don't drink coffee, but why don't we meet? We'll grab a drink or something. We'll talk. We ended up grabbing lunch. He joined my company and he's been on 3 vacations. And I'm like, are you better now that you've done this? Now, if you're the type of person that wants to travel once in a blue moon, join, because you're going to save 20 to 70%. If you're the person who wants to travel every week, every month, do that. You're going to save a bunch of money. If you're the type of person that wants to travel once every 5 years, go book on Expedia. you're not. I mean, that's
There's no
not what.
point.
There's no point. I would never want you to go do this. I have friends of mine that are right now in a plane flying back from Cozumel. I've known this couple for 3 years. They live in Andover, just a little town outside of Wichita here. And in 3 years, they've been on 15 vacations. Now, I should have been in Cozumel with them, but I had to stay here. I had some business stuff that I had to do. But here's the best part of my day. This is the best part of my day. Seeing their pictures on social media, loving the fact that this husband and wife raised their 2 kids. The kids are grown now, and now they want to live their lifestyle. And in the last 3 years, they're absolutely being able to do that. So, and they're just saving a bunch of money, traveling, having fun. I mean, they've got pictures online right now. They were snorkeling yesterday. They were on the beach and they were having a barbecue.
And they're coming back here to snow.
Yep, they're actually on a plane right now. I think they're actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're in Houston.
You need to just go outside and get a big handful of snow and just take a real close picture of it and send it to them. Just be like, here you go,
Right.
buddy. Here you go. See you in a bit.
Exactly.
I'd love to be in a place with like some beaches instead of snow. I don't like the cold at all.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Like
So
those.
I think that's where we're going. I think that's, what we're going to do. We're going to help, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have a better lifestyle. And we're going to make them, feel better, look better, and travel better.
All right, so I have one more question left,
Absolutely.
and this is coming from the place of being a coach and serving. What do you feel is the biggest takeaway, or should be the biggest takeaway of travel for coaches?
For coaches, I think the biggest thing for somebody who's trying to coach somebody else or help somebody else is there are so many aspects to travel that are really good for individuals, not only emotionally, spiritually, physically, every single step along the way. I love it when somebody goes and they travel and they basically fight the whole way through. And what I mean by the fight the whole way through is I get on the plane and they say, hey, due to some mechanical failure, we're going to have to get you off of the plane and put you on a different plane. And I'm laughing the whole time because everybody else is mad. And I'm laughing and I'm like, well, I'd rather be on the ground when it happened than be in the air. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So from a coach's perspective, it's like, look, you're going to travel. We know it's the biggest pent up demand in the world right now. People are traveling. They're going out. They're traveling from their city. They're going to, from Kansas. They're leaving. They're going to Colorado. They're going to Texas. I've got friends of mine on the road right now to Dallas, Texas. They're going to go do these things. So from a coach's perspective, I would say just take a deep breath, relax. You are going to get there. You're doing this because you needed a break from the mundane of everyday life. So enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. Don't worry about all the little things that you can't control. So that's one of the biggest things is, God give me the wisdom to know what I can and cannot change, but also give me the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So I want to know what I can and cannot change. And I can't change whether or not the pilot or the plane or is late or I miss a connection or any of those sort of things. So why would I be upset about it? So just realize that, just help people work through those mental barriers, those mental issues. Everybody's going to have them. I mean, travel is the one thing that I will tell you can spend money on that you get to take with you because you get the experience. You get the memories created with friends and family. Here's the craziest question that will ever be asked of anybody. Gabriel, how old are you?
I am 16 on January 7th.
16. You took one vacation that you remember when you were a kid. Where'd you go?
I went to Texas on the beach.
Texas on the beach. So you were down in the Galveston area, probably.
And
Port
Corpus
Aransas.
Christi.
Okay. So
Yes.
you remember that, right? How old were you when you did that?
I think 13.
13 years old?
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, right?
11, 12. Yeah, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah. It was
11,
a
11
few
to 12. It
years
was
ago.
11 and 12.
And you can remember those experiences, right? You remember
Yep.
things about that trip? What'd you like about it?
Well, actually, whenever we went down there, it was like the first time that it had gotten cold in Texas for like a while. So
Sure.
I remember it being like very, very cold. It was around winter time.
It snowed on the beach.
Snowed on the beach. That's an
snowed on the
experience,
beach.
right?
Yeah.
But I do remember getting like a really good tan and like my hair like getting blonde from the beach, and like it was really cool. We got like a surfboard, and like
Yeah.
it broke later, but it was really fun.
But you were surfing, right? You were having fun. Okay, so let me ask you another question. What'd you get for your 10th birthday? How about your 10th Christmas? How about your 11th,
Uh,
12th?
I don't know. It's not really that important to me.
So this is the experience. So here's the thing. It's not about the junk that we buy. It's not about the iPhone. It's not about the brand new computer. It's not about the materialistic things. It's not the new car. It's not the college education that was paid for. None of that. What really matters in life is the experiences and the people that you can do it with. So that's what travel has the ability to do. Travel because you go somewhere else with someone, friends, family, loved ones, best people on the planet, you get to create those memories. The greatest gift you can ever give your children is the experiences of a lifetime. Hanging out, spending time with the people that you want to. That's what I feel is so beneficial about travel. So, from the coach's perspective, help people, families, kids, moms, dads, everybody experience more in life. That's the whole goal because we're only here for a short time. Only here for a
Right.
short time.
You never know. Could be tomorrow. Could
And
be 10 years from now.
exactly.
You know, could be, you know, you just, you finally get to experience that happiness and you go, or you finally get to experience that happiness and then you exist in that happiness for the next 30 years.
Exactly.
You can't ever tell. It's
And
the,
that's the
the
thing is,
connections we make.
yeah, I would just
Honestly, with
do
that
those
last
connections.
statement you made, you just like hit the nail right on the head.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
good stuff, man.
Crazy good.
Well, I think that pretty much draws our segment to a close for today.
Love it.
Definitely, James, thank you for being on with us.
Yes, very much.
You're
Definitely,
welcome.
everybody that joined us today and watched, you guys also thank you.
Happy New Year's, everyone.
Happy New Year's, everybody. Definitely. And what I say every time we close out is everybody be the power that you need in your life today, because if you're not, no one else will. Thank you, guys. We love you.
See you guys.